This is the Veteran Woman Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to empowering, inspiring, and encouraging veteran women to overcome their struggles and celebrate their successes. Now, here's your host, the one and only Airial Re'nal.
Hey. Welcome to the Veteran Woman Podcast. I am your host, Airial Re'nal. So, let me be honest for a little bit. I've had to pull and push myself to get this podcast going for a while. I honestly allowed fear to sink in and it overcame me. So I stalled, I procrastinated, but something kept tugging at my heart to go ahead and finally do this. So I finally decided to just do it. So here we are. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to Scott Doucet, podcast host at Podcast Bay, co-founder of the Podcast Discovery Center group on Facebook, and he is my amazing podcast producer and consultant. Thank you so much, Scott. So you may be wondering, why am I podcasting? Well, first of all, let me start by telling you a little bit of a backstory, a little bit of story more about me, so you can kind of understand why I'm driven to do what I do. So I served 12 years active Army. I got out in 2014, and I spent almost 2 years trying to figure out what in the world I wanted to do after I got out of the military. Now, mind you, I did IT. I had a strong IT background in the military. So a lot of people think, oh, well, that's easy to get a job. And I thought so too. So I had a degree. I had my resume together. I had a job lined up and everything. So I was like, I'm good. I'm ready. But that was only a good thought in a perfect world. What I didn't realize is that I wasn't quite as emotionally ready as I thought. And my last couple of years in the military were also trying, so that didn't help. From being sexually assaulted by my supervisor to experiencing racial discrimination to just a complete breakdown. Like literally, I was in a mental institution for 5 days, in inpatient care for 5 days. And I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, had major panic attacks, all of that. And I actually had a point in my life where I didn't want to live anymore because I felt so hopeless and purposeless. So I understand suicidal ideations and how people can go through that. So the adjustment for me during my transition was pretty difficult. I've been attending therapy for about almost 2 years. My memory comes and goes, and that's one of the side effects. But I had been attending therapy and on meds, and I was going back and forth trying to decide what I wanted to do in life. But it was like every time I went to therapy, and of course I don't knock therapy in any way, but every time I went to therapy, it was like a scab constantly being picked. So I would go to therapy, talk to my counselor. It's as if we were pulling up past pain and just keep picking that scab. And like I was never healing. I would have emotional hangovers. I would have panic attacks. I would be completely done after therapy. And I just felt stuck. And I was like, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more than this. So pretty much I just wanted to and needed to move forward and move past that pain that I was constantly feeling. So I somehow got in touch with a coach, and I signed up for a discovery call. And at that moment, in that one call, my whole life had changed. That conversation was so pivotal for me because the coach focused on, okay, this is where you are now, Airial. These are your strengths. So let's figure out how to capitalize on those strengths and move past that pain and focus on the possibilities. Like I said, that was a pivotal moment in my life. And at that point, I was reminded that I wasn't alone. that's when I decided I wanted to serve others in the same capacity. So I went, became certified as a coach in different aspects in different areas. And then shortly after that, I founded the Veteran Woman. Now, the Veteran Woman is a limited liability company. But I want people to understand that for me, the Veteran Woman is more than just a company or a business. It's a persona. It's a movement. And it definitely isn't just about me. So let me tell you, I created the Veteran Woman entity in order to help women make the necessary life decisions without all the red tape. Because I don't like red tape. I don't like politics. I don't like bureaucracy. And this podcast actually serves as one of the platforms to help carry out the mission of the Veteran Woman. With this podcast, my goal is to empower, inspire, and encourage women veterans and those who love them. So that's a big audience. And also it's to provide a platform where veterans, women veterans, can share their voices and their stories. And also it's to provide a platform for advocacy and awareness. Mind you, again, as I say, without bureaucracy and red tape. And of course, I get asked all the time, do I serve male veterans? Do I serve civilians? Well, let me tell you this way. I won't turn anyone away because of their gender or military affiliation or lack thereof. Okay? It's just that my target demographic is women veterans because I am one. I understand what it is to be a woman. I understand what it is to be a veteran. I understand what it is to be a woman in the military. And I understand firsthand some of the struggles that we go through both in and out of the military. But I want to let you know that I do welcome guests from all backgrounds, men, women, veterans, and non-veterans. Oh, and by the way, speaking of veterans, let me go ahead and define what a veteran is for me. When I say veteran, this is what I mean. It's anyone who has ever served even one day in the armed forces. And look, listen, I don't care if you've been honorably discharged, dishonorably discharged, or other than honorable. I don't care your discharge status. I don't care if you saw combat or never saw combat. I feel you are a veteran. To me, you are a veteran, and your story is important. If you are currently serving, you are a veteran. I don't care if you have an exemplary record. I don't care if you have knocks on your record. I don't care. And not that I don't care about you as a person, but I know some of the things that we try to sign up for, they have certain stipulations and specifics, like serve 180 days after this amount of period of time. For me, that does not matter. I want to hear your story. You are a veteran. This is the one place, whenever you come around me or in contact with any of my programs, this is the one place where you can throw out bureaucracy, red tape, and politics. Just throw them out of the window. I want you to openly and freely share your voice, the struggles and the successes equally. So for the podcast, I'm looking for both women and men who have followed their heart, recognize the value of their experiences, and are enjoying purpose and prosperity and fulfillment in their lives. I'm looking to have wholehearted conversations. So it's a conversation with a friend about stories in your life and about how you've overcome any obstacles and barriers. Authenticity is number one on my list. Authenticity, transparency, openness are highly important to me because we have enough people being fake and not willing to share their story. And I just want you to share your insights and wisdom that can help others move forward to their own vision, whether it's because of helping them increase their confidence or their clarity or self-belief, or through specific skills or strategies. So those are the kind of guests I'm looking for. And those are the kind of guests that you can expect to hear from, and the kind of interviews and topics that we talk about on the Veteran Woman podcast. a myriad of topics, from education to career to financial education to spirituality to sexual education to health and wellness, those kind of things. So just stay tuned. But I do want to give a quick disclaimer, because I am a huge advocate for veterans, women veterans, and mental health. There may be times where some topics or shows may skirt that line of politics, but I believe that's still important, because we have to give that voice in order to bring awareness and advocate for those who don't have that voice or who haven't found their voice yet. So just be aware, it may be something that skirts that line, but I honestly believe awareness brings change. So some topics may be controversial, and that's fine, but still be aware I do things in my own way. That's another reason why I came up with this podcast and this entity, because I'm a little bit of a rebel. So you can expect interviews, solo shows, and even live shows that you'll be able to call in, talk to the guests, ask questions, provide feedback, and everything like that. So definitely stay tuned and subscribe. My ultimate goal is to create a platform where you can share and get answers to the questions you have, and that you have a podcast that you actually look forward to listening to, that's relevant to you. So with that being said, I highly, highly encourage and ask you to provide feedback for me. And one of the ways of doing so is by visiting theveteranwoman.com. You'll see a tab labeled podcast, and there you'll find the menu option, feedback and suggestions. Please be honest. Let me know what you think. If you have guest suggestions, if you want to be a guest, you can find it there on the website. Above all, I want to thank everyone who has pushed me, who has inspired me and supported me throughout this journey, and those who will continue to do the same. I thank you so much. And if you who are listening to this would like to be a patron, a sponsor, or advertise on the podcast, you can find more information about that on the theveteranwoman.com website as well. I'm also looking for artists and creatives to share like music, songs, and poetry on the show. This is a free way, a free source of promotion for military veterans that fall in that category. So if you know any military veterans that are recording artists or play an instrument or whatever, I would love to feature them on the show. So please pass that information or get in contact with me if you fall into that category. And if you or someone you know would like to be a guest or a co-host, visit, again, theveteranwoman.com. And also make sure to check out some of the other programs that the Veteran Woman entity offers while you're there visiting the site. You can follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook at facebook.com/theveteranwoman. I'm on Instagram at The Veteran Woman. And I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn at Airial Re'nal. That's AIRIALRENAL. Last but not least, I want to give you a couple of my mantras that I live by and that drive me when it comes to making decisions and how I conduct myself in my business. Skip the BS. Your story matters. Sharing your story will help you heal and others heal. No bureaucracy or red tape. Your voice matters. The truth that's the hardest to tell should be told the loudest. You are unique. Be authentic. Show up and show out. Be you. Love yourself. Live life limitlessly. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Signing off, your host, Airial Re'nal.
You've been listening to the Veteran Woman Podcast. If you want to connect with Airial and let her know what you thought of today's show, be sure to head over to www.theveteranwoman.com and follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Veteran Woman.